Oh, look at that.
We're
Just
ready.
like that.
I moved.
We have another special guest with us today. Once again, Donne Clement Petruska. And we're having these guests on because people, well, not really people, but my cat's been telling me that everyone's sick and tired of just me and Gene. So
Well, this is perfect.
Special guest.
Donne, great to have you here.
Yes.
Thanks for having me again.
All right.
So much is going on, Donne.
Oh, I know. This show is packed. There's so much going on. And this is a perfect timing to have Donne back again with us. So this is great. Dave, you want to say hello to a few people before we get going?
Yeah, let me just go through the list. The gang's already rolling in. We got Kay is here, Tracy, Robbie. All right, yeah, that's Robbie. I thought it was Bobby for a second. All right, and then we got let's see, we got Lorianne, fantastic. Jamie, Trish. Hey, Trish made it. Stella, Therese, Daniel's here. This is terrific. William, Phil, Donna, Aaron. Hey, even Larry's here watching. Larry, that's great. All right, very good. All
okay.
Right.
Hey, first of all, I have to say.
Share, please share.
Yes, please share. Donne, just so you know, Dave and I are fans of your show. We're watching it, and we watched one of your shows there. Before we show one of the clips, which is probably one of the more controversial clips from this weekend.
A little controversial.
All right. Donne, where can people find you or your shows on YouTube, like or just the main website? Where can people find you?
Yeah.
Yes. So the main website is houseofdestiny.org, but you can also just put kimclement.com and it's going to take you to the same place. And then we're on YouTube and we're on Rumble, X, Facebook, Instagram, all of them. And you just look for Prophet Kim Clement or Kim Clement and their official pages. You'll be able to tell it's us. And we do a number of shows through the week, but I do Sundays. I have my
live show, right?
Probably got the clip from.
Yeah, that's the one. The last one we watched and was the one from Sunday. And as soon as you were on, me and Dave were like, "Oh my goodness, look at this title." We watched the whole thing. It was great.
Anyway, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Okay. Donne, only 37 seconds on this clip. Weigh in on it, not weigh in on it, anything you want to do. But we thought this was interesting. Here we go.
Weaving webs and webs and webs of lies and deception that many on the conservative side were lured in and now are finding themselves all wrapped up in that web. And I know that because of the book he wrote in 2019. What was the name of that book? The Great Reset versus the Great Awakening? Huh.
Now, Donne, who are you talking about there?
Dugan, who is all over the news right now. I'm sure everybody's seen that Candace Owens is attending the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, which, for years and years, we were so focused on the Western globalists, the World Economic Forum. But this is, how's that any different? The International Economic Forum, the only thing that's different is that it's in the East.
Yeah. And the only other thing that's different is that today, I think the Ukrainians flew a drone right into a big oil refinery there and blew the whole thing up, didn't they?
I just read that. I just saw that maybe 30 minutes ago. I didn't know. I was working all day, but I was going through my X page and saw that. And I mean, the visual of it is quite striking. And I was reading through comments and I saw Estonia coming up, and I just remember my dad shouting Estonia and Ukraine, you will be the troublemakers. You will be the little ones that rattle Putin, who claims himself as a czar, is what Dad said. That's a quote. And
Wow.
so there's something very, very dangerous. And it's not to say that the Western globalists were not dangerous or are not dangerous. I think they've been reined in a lot. But the Eastern globalists have not been focused on enough. And this is something that I saw coming from my dad many, many years ago, warnings that he was getting, in particular about Putin. And this is going all the way back to 2009. Dad was seeing stuff about Putin. And so I have that for me, and the people who follow us know that my dad had been giving those warnings. So when I see that coupled with the anti-Semitism, and remember my dad saying Russia will join hands with Iran and Syria, and will gather as many nations as possible to come against the Jews and to come against this Christian nation, meaning America. And so this was a very big thing, warning he had prophetically many years ago. At the same time, he was seeing what he was about Trump. So I have that advantage of my dad's seeing these things as a warning long before it ever manifested, even after he died. So we had the years of Trump's first presidency. We had the Biden years. We had a big fight there where our focus was, and rightly so, on our deep state and cleaning it up, and the globalists that had taken a hold of us already. But there's this other looming beast, giant. My dad was seeing giants, and it is giants. You see China, Russia, Iran. You look at them on a map, and it's giant.
Yeah.
That system is also, both can be wrong. We don't want any globalists, so Western or Eastern. And that is what I am concerned about when I'm seeing that. And I see Dugan, and I was worried about Dugan all the way back in 2022. And now I see he's everywhere. And that concerns me as well, because that's connected to what? The International Economic Forum.
Right.
Which I really think there needs to be more attention on that now, because the others have been reined in. You know, Klaus Schwab doesn't lead the World Economic Forum anymore. He left in disgrace. They have been significantly weakened by Trump and his administration. But this is a real concern.
Yeah. Hey, for those that don't know, the term czar, which people throw around all the while, but the term czar is really another name for Caesar.
Yeah, and Donne, one of the things you mentioned that we had a text message convo on this, but your dad talked about this web, and what I saw happening is, like, when we first started, promoting Trump and everything, like, we thought that it was the left media bad, mainstream media bad, and every single person on the right, no matter what, hey, they're the true news, they're the real news, everything else. And now we come to find out, and it's more obvious every day, like, people are just spewing BS out there all the time. And it's clearer that we're seeing this now, where when we first started this, none of us ever would imagine, hey, that's how you infiltrate a movement. Your thoughts, Donne, on that?
Well, the thing is that I feel like it was probably naive to think that we're the media now. We're going to take the reins and we're going to tell each other what's going on and inform one another. I feel it was naive to think that those who infiltrated the mainstream would not be able to infiltrate here. And they've been very effective by sort of the martyrs of that media. Tucker is fired. Megyn Kelly's fired. They're cast out. They're truth tellers. And I mean, when that first happened with both of them, I was so supportive. I was subscribed and watching Tucker and watching Megyn and Candace. And, up until that point, there was no reason we had not to trust them, especially when they had been martyred by that media giant that we had battled. And so, of course, some of them were taken. I mean, you think about the kind of salary you get at Fox News, and then you don't have that anymore, but you have to maintain a mortgage. Who are you supporting? All those kind of things.
Right.
No, I don't think with Tucker that's the case. I think there's something else going on there.
Yeah,
It's-
Tucker has big family money.
But just that concept alone gave me pause. Like, they're actually more vulnerable. Or someone like Alex Jones, who, what they did to him over Sandy Hook and that whole lawsuit with the billions of dollars. I mean, that was so absurd. But unfortunately, I feel like, and I don't have any reason to say this other than my own observations, so I haven't heard this, and this is what it looks like, is that if you put someone in a desperate situation, they will be much easier to buy or to control. If someone is in a desperate, like, I've lost everything, like everything I've worked for. So I'm sure there's going to be a variety of different reasons why, but it was naive for us to think that it couldn't be infiltrated, because things happen to people.
Well, look, I have a really different viewpoint on this when it comes to the term globalist. I see that term globalist or cabal as just another word that's tossed around in far right circles for Jew. And I've had these talks with Gene numerous times, in that suppose each one of us in our own right and our families had billions of dollars, right? You come from a long line of money. You're an aristocrat. Gene's an aristocrat. We're all now. Where are we going to associate? And how are we going to govern ourselves? What businesses are we going to become involved with? Are we going to start mom and pop shoe stores? Are we going to no? We'd be hanging out with the Bilderbergs. We'll be at the Bilderberg Hotel, right? Because that's our lineage. Why would we ever think that the people at the Bilderberg and those meetings would be gyrating around with the riffraff in the street?
And let me just add to this, because I've seen it in Myrtle Beach, and I'm sure it's in all towns, but in Myrtle Beach, they have what we call the old money and then the new money. And I'm telling you, they have separate cotillions. They will do business with them, but right. One has their country club, the other one has the other country club. And old money, they like to stick together, and then the new money kind of want to be there, but then they form their own club, and then they have the workers.
That happened in New York.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Now,
New York City, the old money and the new money, you can actually see it.
Yeah. See what
I would imagine. Yeah.
The world I know nothing about.
All right. I've had opportunity through Blaze to observe these people on an equal playing field. We're involved with cybersecurity. We're involved with a lot of stuff like that. But so that's their whole mentality. Their mentality is not taking you over and turning you into slaves. And that's not the mentality is, how do we keep our money?
Yes.
That's okay. Their mentality. And generationally, that's their mentality. So, all right. So we're just going to say that. But there's one thing I did want to bring out. In that clip, you brought out Alexander Dugin's book, The Great Reset versus the Great Awakening. Right?
Yes.
And now, was that written by Alexander Dugin? Because I think there's somebody else that wrote exactly that book.
Well, yes, and I've only just recently discovered that, which was surprising to me, because what I can tell, the content of the books are very different, but I'm not really sure what to think of that. Honestly, it's a new revelation.
You don't have to say.
Yeah, it's a newer revelation, and I'm just.
It's a revelation to a lot of people. I mean, without many people could figure it out, but like I
know about Dugan, not in the way that everyone else is learning about Dugan. Like I just had a warning about him, and I think I talked about this last time I was on. I had
Was it a dream? I don't know. Was it a dream?
I was just scrolling through social media and I saw his name. And I didn't know he was Russian. I didn't know what he was. I didn't know a thing. I'd never seen his name before. But it struck me. And what I heard, and I can't say I heard it with my ears, but what I knew was this phrase, Alexander Dugin is Putin's Rasputin. And like I said before, I already know how much my dad warned through prophecy about Putin and about Ukraine, things that have already come to pass, things that haven't yet. But It was all he outright said, Russia is not your friend. He spoke of seeing a hand extending to shake like a deal. And that hand extended to shake, and that when the hand was shaken, that there would be an instant retribution of some sort. My dad saw it like a decapitation. As soon as a hand extended from Russia to America. And these are things that I'd known for years and had been watching to see when was that going to happen. And so my concern was during the Biden years, when we were all working so hard to get Trump in, is there were murmurs. It was never direct, but there were murmurs around us everywhere, either in person or on social media, of a message being that Putin was working with Trump and helping him to take down the deep state. So I was concerned all the way back then, because I'm starting to hear these things, and I had no issue. I can't even say that. I didn't know anything about Putin and Russia and their history. I do now, but I didn't in the beginning. I just knew that there was a warning to watch out for that name and watch him, because Dad, and then of course in the Trump years, all the Russia hoax, which unfortunately that has turned the support or not for Putin, aka Russia, aka Dugin and all that, into a tribal thing. Because it's like, oh, well, the left just beat it into our brains for years about the Russia, Putin. And now that this is occurring on the right, you'll have a comeback of, oh, whatever. You're just being like the woke retards going on and on about Putin and Russia again. And that was very clever too. Because now you can't just have an honest conversation about it, because it's been interjected with politics and tribal concepts. So now you can't even look at it clearly. And I feel like it's by design.
Oh, it is. It's just like the other day when the Russians, for whatever reason, flew a drone into a Romanian apartment building, killed a lot of innocent people and so on. And it turns out that Romania is making an issue now. I shouldn't say that. They're not making an issue, but they're bringing it out that they are fully supportive of the United States going against Iran, and they're allowing our planes to refuel within Romania. So
the last part again about Romania, my cat is scared.
All right. What I said was that the Romanians they are allowing the United States to refuel and so forth and use our base in Romania, unlike, of course, Spain and whatever. Right. But even though, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Russians flew a drone into their apartment building. So, and then of course, Putin gets out there right away and says, "Oh, how do you know it was one of ours? It's probably Ukraine with a false flag." And then all of the MAGA acolytes that kiss Putin's feet, they're all over X saying, "Yeah, it was Ukraine. Russia would never do something like that. It's all Ukraine." I'm telling you, these people are brainwashed, and I don't know what to do with them.
All right, guys, let's get into this show here. You ready to go? We'll do some of these things.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay, here we go. By the way, guys, make sure you share this. This is the leaked story from the Dispatch. The Bitcoin crashed, or at least went down to 67K here. Dave, do you think with the Bitcoin and all this stuff, is it just lost its luster, or is there something behind this with the dollar, or what's going on with it? It was at a high of one.
Well, there's two things. One, the dollar, the U.S. dollar, the dreaded Federal Reserve note is super strong, and that's just what President Trump said was going to happen with the dollar. It is very strong right now, and it's squeezing all of these other hard assets. So you're going to see a dip in gold, you're going to see a dip in silver, you're going to see a dip in other precious metals, and now Bitcoin. And we're going to play a video here because Cuban has the right idea, is that Bitcoin is entering into the broader economic system.
In other words, it's coming into like more mainstream. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. It's becoming a lot more mainstream, especially since now under the Clarity Act, it's under the jurisdiction of the CFTC. But the big thing is, as a result of that, it's no longer just being used by criminals, right? Primarily, right? I mean, this is what cryptocurrency was used. Come on, you're not going to the grocery store buying milk, eggs, and bread and cereal boxes with your XRP or crypto or whatever. I got my Solana. I'm going to buy it with some Solana. No one's doing that.
Guys, share this. Okay, here is Mark Cuban on this. Here we go.
Bitcoin and Bitcoin stocks are losing favor with some of the billionaire class. Just days after billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban told a podcast last week that he has sold most of his Bitcoin holdings because it has, quote, lost the plot. A new Securities and Exchange Commission filing out yesterday shows that in the first quarter, billionaire hedge fund manager Paul Tudor Jones sold his entire stake in Bitcoin treasury firm Strategy. Last week, Strategy made an interesting move of its own. The world's largest corporate holder of Bitcoin paused its almost constant weekly purchases of the crypto.
That's big.
Right. Now, one thing I will tie in with this is a lot of the black market oil, because the United States put sanction on it, was paid through crypto. And now through Kash Patel's FBI, we know it was funneled through some of these other places, including, by the way, Thailand.
Right. So you have so.
Don't wait till you see the video.
Confiscated. What did they confiscate, guys? But I think it was $8 billion worth of Bitcoin on all of these cell phones. So that Bitcoin is now poised either to be released back on the market at some point. Nobody knows. So it creates uncertainty and the Bitcoin goes down.
Donne, do you follow Bitcoin at all, or like any of the crypto or anything like that?
My husband does. And he was talking to me a little bit about this because I was saying, you think, because he had said to me, Bitcoin's dropped down to 65,000 or whatever it is today. And I was like, well, why? And, he had a few theories of things that he thought.
Let's hear them. That's good.
I'm not going to be able to recount them the way he did.
All right.
He did point to me in the direction of, like, for instance, gold and silver were just going up like that right before the war. And I didn't realize that. And now it's gone back down. And I was saying to him, is it because people feel uncertain because of the war in Iran and the stuff with the oil and everything going on? People might feel uncertain. And then also he was saying to me, a lot of people like, when Bitcoin's running and it's going and it's like 100,000 and whatever, and everybody's wanting to jump in. And when it's high, then what happens is when it starts to drop down, then they're just seeing themselves losing money and they're like, oh, forget it.
Well,
that is true. All of that is true. He's talking about the pile-on.
So he was saying to me, the best thing probably to do right now is hodl.
Wait, just so you know, later on, we have this a part on tattoos with this guy from Maine. So I can't wait to ask you these questions later. But anyway, with this, now FBI, and we love Kash Patel here, they have had these, they basically been rounding people up here. Now, here's the thing, Donne, that I didn't know. Well, Dave and I knew about it, that Russia, many people go to places like Thailand, and this is where one of the busts was. And there's a lot of Russians and there's a lot of nefarious money here. Check out this video here. This is one of the largest Asian reporting news sources talking about Thailand. Here we go.
U.S. Treasury Department now identifies Thailand as a major Russian sanctions evasion hub, with 7 Thai companies sanctioned since 2024 for helping Russians evade export controls. But from Thailand's perspective, this is strategic tolerance. The Thai government keeps the restrictions on paper to show international partners, like the OECD, which Thailand hopes to join, that they are improving corporate transparency and preventing money laundering. But at the same time, they avoid large-scale prosecutions that would disrupt investment flows or damage Thailand's reputation as an easy place to do business.
Okay, so they're keeping 2 sets of books. Basically, they got the one set of books that they show the authorities. Oh no, look, we're following all the rules. Look, we're following all the rules. We got to. And on the other hand, they don't want to upset the Russians because the Russians are putting in a lot of money into their economy. Might be laundered money, whatever, but that's what's going on.
And on the other note of it, that's why a couple of days ago we showed the video of Kash Patel had his FBI agents in Thailand for like 11 months and he kept quiet. So this is another thing. I really think that the FBI, Donald Trump, is really trying to crack down on this illegal money laundering that was done through crypto. So.
Yeah, all the Bitcoin scams, all of that, all of the QFS scams. We'll take care of your Bitcoin and XRP, the QFS. The quantum financial system is right around the corner. You'll take you out of all your troubles. And meanwhile, it's coming out of Thailand.
Yeah. And
how many of these MAGA people have fled to Thailand?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Well, when we first researched it, there was no that we saw no extradition because it was like friendly and all this stuff. But Kash Patel's FBI for the last 11 months, 12 months have been operating out of the United States Embassy with the Thai Royal Police to crack down on this. I really think this is what we wanted, that Donald Trump is cleaning up a lot of this. And who knew? Like when we first did this, we were like, we love Russia. Seriously, I was like, we love Russia. Ukraine's bad or whatever. But this is a change. This is a dynamic change where like people are waking up. Okay.
Well, my dad saw the spider web. And that's why I used that analogy in the clip you played.
Right.
Because look where you find Russia coming in. And, it isn't about the people of Russia or the people of Ukraine. It's about the leaders.
The regime. Yeah.
What will happen, though, is when arguing about these things, oftentimes it turns into this, you're against Russians, you're against Ukrainians, when it's not. We're against these systems that threaten our freedom. And so these nations operate and historically not well under those systems. And so when you're hearing about the spider web, I'm talking about that is because my dad saw Putin and a spider web. And that, it was like a web. And what I was talking about on my show the other day was I've been working in my yard and I was pulling up weeds and I found the root ball of this weed and I pulled it up and I realized how underneath things were connected that I hadn't realized. Like there were weeds in that corner, weeds over there, but they were all connected from this central root ball that was underneath. And so things that were seemingly disconnected were actually connected. And the same would go for a spider web. It can be woven all over the place, but it's very feeble. And this is the point Dad made, was that the spider's web will be swept away by a servant's broom.
Right, servant's broom. Okay. Really quick before we move on to that, that one of the things that Dave Blaze and I have done when we started watching this, we would actually see someone basically like the leader on X post something, And then we're like, okay, they're going to follow suit. And sure enough, like a spider web or whatever, they other underlings, they just follow whatever the leader is. And then before you know it, and then the bots come in, that's the talking point for everybody. All right. All right.
You know, and let's not forget that Russia under the Soviets started this right after the revolution with Operation Trust. And Operation Trust was a psyop to expose the rebels left within the populace.
I remember that you told me.
And and we wrote about it. We have articles in George Magazine and up on the website from 3 years ago, maybe even longer. That was one of our earlier ones where, and they rooted out the people that was still loyal to the Tsar and killed them all.
So basically, they did a psyop and say, "Hey, we're against the Tsar," and then they got leaders.
That's right.
To say
That's
that we're
right.
against the
They
Tsar.
actually formed. It was a controlled rebellion, controlled opposition, where the rebellion was actually Soviet run, and they got all these people to join. Like people join Proton Mail, and they join all these other privacy apps and all of that because they want to protect their privacy from the tyrannical nut jobs in Washington, D.C. who can't figure their way out of paper bags. And but they got them all. They got them rounded up. They all joined this Operation Trust, and then they killed them.
Right. So the leaders of the so-called rebellion just rounded up who was part of
the Soviets.
Well, they did the same thing in Iran with the Iranian Revolution. You had a union of liberal and Islamists who were going to overthrow in this situation. So again, you're getting rid of monarchies. It's monarchical rule, so they're rebelling against that. And then as soon as the mullahs took control, as Khamenei, France flew him in, as soon as Khomeini, the older one was Khomeini, but when they flew him in, all those liberal women who were fighting with them, many of them were executed.
Yeah.
And so you have the same pattern happening in both places. And then, that just leads back to look at the situation we're in, that they've united now.
Right.
And nobody talks about, and Mao did the same thing in China. I mean, it's Stalin, everyone talks about Hitler. And that was a horror show. But Stalin killed 20 million people.
His own.
Mao killed 40 million dissidents were put to death. So
their own people.
Yeah. I mean, these are some horrible, horrible things that have gone on. And
we don't want those systems controlling us.
No.
Oh, I know. I go back to that one guy.
Not turned into whatever is going on there right now.
Right. I'll take the Bilderbergs over those guys.
We talked about this before. I wish I would have.
The devil, there's
there was one guy I want to take a screenshot. Says basically said online and is prominent enough. I can't wait until the Iranians take us over so that we could get rid of this. I mean, it was. I should have screenshotted it. It's sickening that we finally, for us, we finally have Trump in charge. He's finally whipped the RNC into submission. Like even Lindsey Graham, okay? He's doing what Trump wants, right? Evil Lindsey Graham. He whipped it and it's still not good enough. Sorry, Mr. Graham, but I'm just saying it like that. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this. A big election day yesterday. Trump's endorsement did very well, except for one, Iowa, which is okay.
What's wrong? Something's wrong in Iowa. What's going on in Iowa?
Well, Dave, you have to remember, even with Iowa, the first time they did not vote for Trump. They voted for Ted Cruz this is going back to 16.
Well, 17. I know, but that's 10 years ago. I mean, I don't get it. And this was a Republican primary.
Right. Just so you know, the Trump pick for governor lost to some other person. The one thing I did want to mention with that, the Trump pick did what he was supposed to do. When he lost, he said, listen, you need to vote for the other guy. And what we've been talking about is some of these other people, Massey, rather than after losing it, all he needed to say is, listen, now we have to get together because I am a Republican and we need to vote the Republican in. But no, they can't do that. Anyway, watch this video. It's just 20 seconds.
Came up just a little short, but I just want to say, I just called Zach Lane, said, hey, you got to carry this torch. We got to keep this state red. You got to make sure you beat Rob Sand. I'm all in to help him out. We are going to make sure that we have him as the next governor.
I thought that was Tony Robbins for a minute.
It did look like Tony Robbins.
Did he look like Tony Robbins?
Actually, yes.
I wonder, did your dad ever? You should see Donne's dad knows everyone famous. Michael Jackson, Prince, probably even Tony Robbins. I wouldn't even doubt that. All right. Anyway, so with this, we have the election next week, Tuesday. It's going to be really big. This is South Carolina. One of the things I want to mention, Donald Trump did endorse.
Hold on a second, Gene. I'm calling the cabal to make sure that we don't get taken over by those other clowns in Russia and China and Iran. Hello, cabal? Yes. Yes. Okay. All right.
Dave knows all the cabal.
I know the cabal. I know Mrs. Cabal. There's Mrs. Cabal. There's Angela Cabal.
That's funny. That is really funny. Oh,
all right. Let's take a break because I do want to talk about the devotional. We're trying our best to make sure we put the Lord first or put the Lord in what we're doing. Every day in the dispatch, we have a devotional. I did the one today. Cut it down to 45 seconds. This was my devotional from today, 45 seconds. For our exhortation was not of deceit, nor of uncleanliness, nor in guile, but as we were allowed of God to be put in trust with the gospel. That is what we should be doing. We should be preaching the gospel. I get it with all these things. Hey, you need more Jesus. Hey, we need to be doing this. Oh, look at church on Sunday. I get it. But at the end of the day, what should be our message? Quite frankly, is very simple. The gospel of Christ. That Christ died for our sins, was buried, and rose again to give us eternal life. Okay, very simple. All right, we're very again with this. It's actually the opposite of Donne's ministry. Like we are secular, but we'll talk about God. We're not afraid to it, and I do appreciate Donne. I mean, she's talking about the Bible, and she also talks politics, which is great.
Yeah, right. No, that's fantastic. That's why we love having you on, and I know Gene thinks of you as family, and
we have a connection. She's a sister to me. Like something.
Even though you didn't answer my first question about who also wrote a book, Great Reset versus the Great Awakening, aside from Alexander Dugan. His name, the name escapes me.
Dave, I'll do it. This is how you answer the question. That's
Even use the same cover art. I mean, what are they? Are they on the same team? Maybe they're on the same team.
I do not know. That has been the most shocking thing for me along this journey, because my dad was prophesying so much stuff that a lot of stuff hasn't surprised me. I've been expecting it, like, when is this going to happen? How is it going to happen? So, like I said, this has been a different experience for me.
If I could just say too, that during those Biden years, when Donne and I first met, I mean, it was like, okay, his dad said 2 terms, and we're like, okay, and like, how's this going to happen? We didn't know, and we just felt defeated, and we didn't know, whatever. So I remember when Trump won the election, it was like the first person I was talking to was Donne.
Yeah, and that's the very interesting thing, because now in hindsight, right? In hindsight, you can say, okay, well, it was the first term and now
Right.
the second term, right?
It just wasn't consecutive.
Right. But what happened was the devils got in and confused everything and said, oh, no. This is supposed to be his second term, Biden's term. This is supposed to be his second
Right.
term. It was messed up. We've got to fight for that. And you've got to shoot your neighbors, and you've got to do this, and anybody that disagrees with you is bad. So, yeah, see how things in hindsight.
Right.
Let me tell you, when I look at my dad, because that's what I do. It's his ministry that I've continued with my mom. But when I look at him and what he prophesied, and then look back, and because I'm doing it all the time and track it, I haven't found that anywhere else. And so I think that's what makes our ministry a little bit different, is because it's shocking. And the thing is that it's shocking even to me because of the depth of it, that it really tells me that it is, as my dad said, from God through him.
Right.
And that can happen, but we were given something very special and rare in that it did prepare us for an unprecedented time.
Yeah.
God showed us just enough that we could make it, but he requires of us. And
That's
so
right.
and
Amen.
part of that is to be able to overcome and discern some of these things. And that's, I think, why
we love you being part of the show, because we feel like you're tying that's what we do. A lot of our devotionals, we tie in with things that we see today and that need it. And if you can say God talks through us or whatever, but we find these scriptures and we find them poignant. Okay. Really quick, just two more things, but one of them is really quick. We have these shirts that we've had for since we started George Magazine here the second time. These Kofifi shirts, but you will see this come into play. This thing that Donald Trump said, you will see it come into play.
Yeah, we all forgot about it.
I forgot about it. Kofefe. What happened?
It's going to come into play in a majorly way, and we've got the green light to go ahead and talk about that in a few days. So we will.
Yeah.
Okay. We're just trying to get the shirt out there ahead of time.
Okay. The last story, and I really wanted this as the last one because we wanted Donne to weigh in on this. This is Donne. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me get my. I gotta get the tough guy, muscle guy, combat vet with the Nazi tattoo. Wait, I gotta get the voice. All right, I got it. Yep, I got it. All right, there we go. I'm gonna run real fast. I'm gonna drive real fast. I'm gonna get in my trunk. Got eagles. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay. Donne, I'm not sure if you followed this. This guy is a Democrat running for senator in Maine. First of all, he's got a lot of problems. Let's do this 50 seconds first.
The sexting scandal, the latest controversy for Plattner, who's running against longtime GOP Senator Susan Collins. There's a series of Plattner's inflammatory past social media posts, including where he blamed victims for rape and said a Purple Heart veteran who was shot by the Taliban didn't deserve to live. And then there's the tattoo Plattner acquired during his time in the military that resembles a Nazi SS symbol. Plattner said he was unaware of the meaning of the tattoo and has since covered it up and has apologized for some of his posts. Tonight, Plattner facing Democratic criticism.
Yeah, I have concerns. That guy has questions to answer, and that's what campaigns are for.
But also renewed support.
So do I think he can win? Absolutely. And we desperately need somebody like him here in the U.S. Senate.
They need someone like Plattner in the U.S. Senate.
Donne, your husband, am I right? Your husband's a tattoo artist, right?
Yes. Okay.
Has he ever did a tattoo of someone that, they say, I don't know what that is, just put it on my chest or whatever? Do people actually do that? They just like the image or?
Yes. Oh my gosh. People will not. Yeah. Some people are very particular and it's just personality, but some people will just go in and do that. And you know what? Maybe he's too much of an idiot to know what he got tattooed on his own self. Either way, you don't want that guy in the Senate.
But Donne, that's a prominent spot. He's still
making any decision.
doing it on his chest.
He put on his fist and he says, "Oh, I didn't know." Well, then you shouldn't be in the Senate.
You know what that's like? That's like those young girls that get the tattoo on their lower back and they think it means peace and love, but it really means they have chlamydia.
I like that tattoo. I happen to be fond of that tattoo. Dave, what are you talking about?
I've seen a lot of people get those.
I like that. Okay.
It's the 90s and the 2000s. My husband's actually retired right now.
Oh, he's retired? Oh, my goodness.
He's retired. That's why he does this art. Wait here, let me
we said we would promote it. Yeah.
I mean, the detail that he puts into this is unbelievable.
This is for the 250th anniversary. And so he did that. He does them seasonally.
Donne, where? What is the website? He doesn't have a website.
You have to email him.
It's a
Donne is going to give us his email.
It's a special arrangement. So you have to email him.
Okay.
Now he is working on a website, so he will soon have that. He was trying to just not have to do that at all, but it will be easier to track orders because he's getting a lot of them now. I mean, people are really happy.
I didn't know he was not doing, because I could have got a tattoo from him.
No, he can still do them. He gave one to Pastor Greg Locke.
Really?
Yes, he put an Israeli flag on his calf or something. I've forgotten what Locke got. I wasn't there, but he just did it for him. So,
okay, this is one more on this guy. He's running.
Hold on. Before you play that, I still don't. Okay, this is on the man's chest. Okay,
well, Dave, how do you know he just doesn't think it was like, hey, this is cool, put it right here? You saw him go, oh, when he's like in the bar.
All right, let's say he's a wannabe tough guy and he saw the thing with the snakes and all of that. He's like, oh, that looks great. So let's say it's not that. But this is not a guy that has full sleeves of tattoos. He doesn't have tattoos all over himself. So it's not like he walks into a tattoo parlor and says, I don't know what that looks cool. I'll take that. It's not that. He's got like a giant chest, and that's it.
This might be, let's check the credibility of this guy. You want to do this right here?
Yeah, don't mute on microphones.
Don't mute, okay.
Represent.
I think it's just a healthy form of it, which is, look, I mean, I lift weights. I shoot guns. My background is obviously in the military. I work outside. Most of my hobbies are things that people tend to associate with manly stuff, I guess. At the exact same time, I go to therapy. I have a very open sort of dialogue and emotional relationship with my wife.
This is a guy
we have this
running for
concept
senator.
of masculinity in which,
and that's why I grew this
especially
mustache.
right now with all this kind of manosphere nonsense, this idea that you're supposed to use your strengths to kind of to use power over other people or to offend people, be mean to people. That somehow that's manly. That's not. That's the act of a coward.
Dave, you think this interviewer is accepting this?
To have people
I put on women's clothing.
You can be a tattooed, deep voice combat veteran who makes a living on the sea, and also go to therapy and think that it is a virtue to show up for your neighbors and care about other people.
Watch this lady.
In fact,
Watch
I think
this
those
lady.
two things go completely
I know. She's looking at this
separate.
guy
But we do have
going,
this vision of masculinity in society right now, which kind of makes one seem like if you're this way, you're supposed to be hardened and shut off from the world and angry. And
did you used to think
that? Oh God, yeah. I mean, I spent years. I mean, that was when I kind of was in my darkest moments after my military service. I mean, I was extremely isolated. I was very alone. I did not feel connected to people. I was emotionally just fully unavailable. I felt that
I know.
If I opened up to people, if people saw my weaknesses, they would judge me.
No, it looks like he's just talking whatever that they want to hear. I'm a tough guy, but at the same time, I could also,
You know who this is appealing to? And I know Donne will agree with me. But you know who I think this is appealing to? This is appealing to MAGA.
Right. To say
he's like he's like the
He's a
lefty.
Democrat.
He's like the MAGA, the guy that's lefty.
Right.
That's who they're looking to attract to vote for this.
It looks like they put place there to like, hey, take up the MAGA people, so other people will say, hey, I'd rather vote for this person.
He's he's a fruity Alec, like an AJ, like an Alex Jones with the voice and the
Yes, very much so. And you know what he rich that he says, this masculinity, as though people on the right are violent when they are the most violent. They're walking around assassinating people and justifying it and then glorifying the assassins. The guy that shot the CEO, what's his name?
Yeah.
Mangione.
That guy, and you see the way that's so hypocritical. It's so annoying. And yes, it looks like they're just trying to reach whoever MAGA, and they completely have gotten it all wrong.
Yeah,
it's all wrong. But what did Fetterman say about him?
No, Fetterman called him a creeper. I think he called him a creeper.
Fetterman, my favorite Democrat.
Did I not say that earlier? And I didn't like him at first.
Stroke, and it fixed him. This is what I said. I said, you know what? God works in mysterious ways sometimes, because my dad had strokes, and so I know what it is like to go through that. And I, even though he was a Democrat and I heard he'd had a stroke, I felt really bad for him. And I remember watching him try to learn to speak again, and he was doing interviews and messing up, and I felt bad for him. It was like, no matter what party, like that's awful to happen to anyone. But then he just bloomed.
I know.
You know what? And it's all right that he's over there, because there are people on that side that may hear no one else. And at least, he's maybe he's not with us on everything.
Right. But he will cross the line.
Well, surrounded by a party that has been overcome with anti-Semitism.
All right. Guys, thank you so much. Really quick, Donne, can you tell everyone again where they could contact you? KimClement.com?
Yes, KimClement.com. That easy. Right. And you just search us. And then also, here's my husband's email.
Oh, you know what? Okay, you got
All right, hold on a second. John Petruska at Mac.com.
Yes. And it's very custom.
He's an Apple guy. He's an Apple fanboy.
No, those email addresses, he and I have had our email addresses since the first iPhone.
Dave, do not talk about my Juno. Do not talk about my Juno account.
Do you know, Donne, what email account this guy had? Wait a minute. This guy had an account from Juno, and truly, and I'm in the biz, and I thought Juno went bankrupt before AOL.
Right.
And he comes out with this Juno account. So he says, listen, I sent you an email. I said, oh, Gene, I didn't get it. He says, I sent it like 4 hours ago. His emails were so bonkery slow that Juno could only send out they send them out in like batches, like every 4 or 5 hours.
Why?
No, because that was when I first had it, so I got used to using it. And then later on, when I came,
that's like saying my first, I had a tricycle. And I just got used to using it. So now I just go around town on my big wheel.
Donne, when we were doing this thing with David, they had to get, like the double thing. So it's like, okay, we got to get into the Facebook. We're sending you a thing. It would literally be like 15 minutes to get an email. And it's like, oh, I got the code. It's expired. All right. Hey, guys.
I needed a code to send an email. Donne, you got no idea.
I don't feel so bad about my Mac emails anymore. Or at Mac.
He felt when I set Gene and everybody up with a Google Workspace and all of that, they felt like astronauts. They felt like the first guy that landed on the when they allegedly landed on the moon. Oh, we're here. We can't believe it.
All right, guys.
And how about that guy? Who was the first guy that stepped on the moon allegedly? That was Armstrong?
Why do you got to use the word allegedly, Dave? Why do you got to use the word allegedly?
For various reasons. But was it Armstrong? I think it was Armstrong that first went down a little louder. You know how mad John Glenn was? John Glenn said in his memoir that he was furious because Glenn turns around to take a sip of Tang and Armstrong went down the ladder. Couldn't believe it. True story.
Oh my goodness. We'll do our Firmament Moon show next time. All right, guys. Donne, thank you for joining us once again. Everyone else, thank you so much. And we did it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking us out. Don't forget to go to georgemagazine.com and sign up for the Dispatch. It's free. Get the emails and the news stories. And check us out Monday through Friday, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can check us out on Facebook and YouTube. We'll see you then.